What is going on, guys, and welcome to another video with your host, as always, K-Mac time. And now it is almost Halloween time, which means it is the perfect time of year to bust out those horror, those gory, those scary games and give them a play. Now today I'm going to be taking a look at 15 of my personal favorite Xbox One horror games. Now there are other ones out there, and there are newer ones coming out later this year. But these are my picks, and I'm getting to the ones that are on PlayStation or somewhere on Nintendo systems in the future videos as well. But let's get right into this list. So sit back, relax, hit that like button, subscribe, and we're jumping in with number 15, Resident Evil 4. Now this game was one of my all-time favorites back in the day on the GameCube and the PS2, and they've brought it into modern times now on the Xbox One. And it looks and plays outstandingly well. I just can't get enough of this. The way the graphics look in this game is top notch. It's still got, again, one of the best plot lines and gameplay of all the Resident Evil series. One of my personal favorites from a long time. It's scary, it's gripping, it's got all of the stuff you need into a good horror survival plot line. And now there are Resident Evil 5 and 6 also remastered in the Xbox One. Those games are okay, but personally I prefer 4. I believe there's also the Resident Evil Origins collections, which is the original Resident Evil, and then Resident Evil 0. And of course they're doing a full reboot of Resident Evil 2 coming very soon, so looking forward to that one as well. Can't go wrong with any of these games. Next up is The Evil Within. Now this is a relatively newer horror series, came out in 2014. I love this game. It's got a great story again. A game where you go through an asylum as a police officer. There's all kinds of the stealth, horror, survival stuff going on. It's very scary, very creepy. The environment and the sound design in this game is brilliant. It'll have you like looking over your shoulder. A great game to throw on late at night, turn off the lights, get wrapped up in a blanket and just kind of scare yourself with it. Love this game and love this series. Hopefully they continue on. There's a sequel, we'll see it later in the list. But personally, I think this one's worth a playthrough if you haven't played it already.
Disturbing new experience from the father of survival horror, Shinji.
A kind of older game that came out early in the Xbox One's lifespan and it's kind of overlooked, but I think personally is a top-notch horror game is Alien Isolation. Now this game is a little bit different than most survival horror games. It's got not a whole lot of going on in terms of other playable characters or other NPCs. It's just a lot of ambient aloneness. Again, isolation, like the title suggests. It's got a very creepy feel to it. I loved this game back when I first played it, and I do a playthrough of it pretty much every year, at least once a year, around this time of year, just to get myself scared in the mood. I love the movie series, and this kind of gets into it pretty well. Just an outstanding little horror game here. One that kind of gets overlooked a lot, and you may have forgotten about it if you've never played it. But a game you can pick up super cheap these days because it's been out for a while, and I highly recommend giving it a playthrough if you're looking for something a little bit scary this Halloween. Next up, we have Layers of Fear, which is, again, another really underappreciated game, in my opinion. It was actually a Games with Gold back in, I think last year. So that's when I picked it up. I was free. I think it's like under $10. Now you can get it very cheap still. A very underappreciated horror game. It's got a great sound design. I love the plot in this one. It's kind of full of puzzles in this gameplay as well. A lot of thinking with goes on with this. A lot of ambient noise. A lot of creepy environments. A lot of stuff like that going on. I absolutely had a blast playing this one. I think you guys will too. Again, a game that you may have overlooked just because it kind of a weird one. But I highly recommend this one if you're looking for a creepy night. Maybe you and a couple friends have a couple of drinks and play them together. Loads of fun with this one. Next up, we have Dying Light, which is a crazy combination of parkour and zombie and survival and horror. I absolutely love this. It's like a mixture of Mirror's Edge and a Resident Evil, and that concept alone blows my mind. And it's executed fairly well. The gameplay is super tight. You can get all these fast parkour moves chained together and all that kind of stuff. And it goes into the combat against the zombies and running from the zombies and stuff like that, escaping. It makes for some very thrilling, heart-beating, pounding moments. So you're trying to escape or you're trying to kill something. Loved this game when it first came out back in 2014, and I think it's still worth a play, especially if you haven't played it. It's very, very cheap these days. You can go out, pick a copy up for less than $20, and I highly recommend doing so this October. Next up at number 10 is a fairly recent game that came out last March in 2018, and it's called Agony. Now, this was actually a crowd-funded game, and it got a lot of hype and stuff go behind it. People were really excited to get their hands on this one, so I thought I would try it out. And it is an interesting game, to say the least. It takes place in hell. You basically are a soul in hell. You're trying to wander around and find things. I have not finished this game completely yet. I've kind of been on the backlog, but what I played of it, I did really enjoy. It's very out there and creepy. I mean, there's lots of like weird nudity and devil scenes and crazy demonic shit, and you can like possess other people. It's an interesting game. The gameplay isn't all that thrilling, but from a horror standpoint, it's actually really, really scary. So if you're looking to give yourself a good scare, then I highly recommend picking up Agony on the Xbox One. Another fairly decent game you guys can pick up pretty cheap these days for $20 is Prey. Now, this is a game that I was looking forward to very, very much. I love this reboot of this kind of a series here. I love the older Prey games. This one has a lot of puzzle solving and like a lot of crazy stuff going on, but the shape-shifting bad guys, I forget what they're called, but super scary. They're like chairs one minute, and when you walk by them, they turn into like these big black things. They try and take you down. Crazy, creepy environments in this one as well. I love the weaponry and the gameplay, and the gunplay in this game is very solid and smooth. I actually love the combat system in this game a lot as well. Highly recommend giving this one a pick up and a try. If you're into like more of like a puzzle solving kind of horror kind of game, then I highly recommend giving this one a try. One of the best things of the Xbox One is its backwards compatibility, meaning it has a giant library of past Xbox 360 and even Xbox original games, and some of the best horror games of all time, in my opinion, have to be the Dead Space trilogy for the Xbox 360, and they're all three backwards compatible. You can pick these games up dirt cheap for like under $5-10 most times. They're available on EA Access if you're a member of that as well. So much fun, and these games are beyond scary. And the first time you play through Dead Space 1 or 2, it just blows your mind how creepy it was. I can remember playing these games back in the day when I first had my Xbox 360 and just being, almost shivering in the corner after playing it, because the sound design and the alien design is just so goddamn creepy, and the gameplay with the cut off their limbs is so original and so crazy, and it just has all kinds of scares. Great storylines to go along with these games. Highly recommend. If you guys have not played these games, go back and play them. And even if you have played them, they're still fun to pick up and play again through for the holiday. Get you in that creepy, spooky mood. Perfect games for that time of year. Next up is a very interesting little game called Soma. Now, this is actually released on the PS4 and PC like back in 2015, but it came out for the Xbox One last year, and I was very excited to get my hands on it finally, and it did not disappoint. It's kind of a weird kind of game. I think it has a kind of like a Bioshocky kind of feel to it. I mean, it's like an underwater Soma part thing. It really has a lot to do with like exploring what it means to be human consciousness and all those kind of things like that. You go like a brain surgeon early on in the game, and things go awry from there. You end up in this underwater city called Soma, and you have to do all the exploring. Kind of like I said, kind of like a Bioshock survival horror kind of in that way. A lot of puzzle solving, a lot of clue finding, a lot of traversing around an area, and doing a lot of backtracking. An interesting game for sure, but one I think that most people should check out. And the game, again, you can get this super cheap these days, and it is worth a play, and it will give you a good scare this Halloween. Next up was a really cool, interesting little 2D platforming horror game here called Little Nightmares. Now, this was one of my favorite games of all last year that I played in 2017. I've played it all the way through at least 2 times. I played the DLC. Absolutely love this game. Now, what it is, it's like you're this little girl in a yellow coat, and you're trying to escape, but you're really tiny. You're being chased around by this giant, vulgar-looking pig monster thing, and it's like, oh, it's such a creepy environment, but it's such a fun, cool little game here. The platforming is solid, the controls are fun, the puzzle solving is super in-depth, and it makes you think at times. It's challenging. I love it. And it also has this heart-pounding moments of running, and you have to hide in the shadows or hide underneath the cabinets. You also have to eat to stave off from starving, so you eat like all kinds of gross things off the floor or body parts to stay from starving. Just a great little game here. It reminds me a lot of Limbo if you're into that. but the more horror element to it. So much fun with this one, guys. Highly recommend playing this one. You will not be disappointed. Next up is one of the craziest ideas for a horror game I've ever heard, and that is Among the Sleep. Now, this game's premise is you are an infant child and you are trying to escape and find your mother, but everything along the way turns into this crazy environment, scariness, and because it's through the eyes of an infant. You know, things like, you know, the phone ringing, or things like the lights coming on and off are through the infant's eyes. Horrible, crazy things because they don't know or can't comprehend what it is. So this game kind of puts that spin on it for you. So, and it's just kind of great twist on horror. I absolutely love this game, and it does actually have a lot of scary moments. There's moments where you're trying to like go to this one part, and this adult comes and picks you up as you're trying to escape, and it looks like this giant scary monster, and it scared the hell out of me when I was playing it. And I highly recommend giving this one a try, guys. I know it has a weird premise, and it's a talking teddy bear. It may not seem too creepy, but like I said, it is very scary. This game is actually very scary, and I actually really enjoyed it. Next up at number 4 on my list is the sequel that I was talking about earlier to Evil Within. This is the Evil Within 2. It's a fairly new game. It came out a year or so ago. Again, it does everything the first game does and just does it a little bit better, a little bit creepier, a little bit faster paced. The story in this game is like very solid as well. I enjoyed the character development. I enjoyed all the stuff. But then again, the thing I really enjoy about this particular horror series, again, is the creepy environments, the stealth-like gameplay, the hiding in the shadows. The sound design makes you turn your head. You hear all this dripping and creaking and weird noises. It'll make you like, where did that come from? What's over there? And have these, you know, these heart-pounding moments where you don't know what's behind this door, or what's in this room, is this dark room. Is this murderer chasing me through this asylum type deal? Love this game. It's a solid sequel. Again, a game you can pick up on the cheap for under $20, and I highly recommend giving this one and its prequel a play. Next up is a really cool cyber horror game called Observer. It came out in 2017. It's made by the same people that made Layers of Fear, but I think this game for the money is a little bit better than that one. And it is just a really interesting take on this genre. It's got something kind of gameplay that I've never really seen before or played before. You kind of play as this person who's a detective, and he's got like, everyone in this universe has cybernetic enhancements. You can like upgrade yourself, and it's just kind of crazy. Everyone's like half robot. You do things like hacking into dead people to see their past memories, hacking into computers. I think that hacking is a big part of this game. Again, it's got your typical detective gameplay where you're gathering clues, stealing emails, putting things together, solving a mystery. But at the same time, it's got all these really weird, scary horror elements to it. The sound design is very solid, and again, solid gameplay mechanics I've never really seen before, where like you enhance yourself with things you collect, but it makes your humanity go down, or sometimes there's a glitch into things and you start glitching out and you're seeing things differently, and got all these kind of cool things. A very interesting and solid little game here. Again, a one you can pick up very cheap, and one I highly recommend giving a try is Observer. Coming into my runner-up spot is the best game I played last year, and that is Resident Evil 7. This brought this series back to life in my eyes. It had been a while since I had played a Resident Evil game, since like Resident Evil 6 on the Xbox 360, and I didn't really ultimately care for that one. But this game is amazing. Just so scary. The gameplay is out of this world crazy. The characters are in it are just so much fun, and the story it tells is top notch as well. And on top of that, you've got your typical, story driven, puzzle based gameplay with tight controls. The gunplay is great. The boss battles are intense, creepy, scary. Just Jack's character alone is enough to freak you the hell out. I love that he's always wandering the house, and sometimes you see him and you have to run from him and stuff like that. The intensity is there. This one will get your heart pumping. Again, there's choices to be made in this game. It's got alternate endings. Again, another just amazing game. This was my pick for 2017 Game of the Year. I've played it through a dozen or so times. I have it on PS4 as well. I played it on VR on PS4. Love this game to death. Cannot wait for another one like this. The Resident Evil 2 remake's coming out soon. Cannot wait for it to see that game and this style of graphics and stuff like that and in VR. But man, if you guys have not played this one, do yourself a favor. This one is a absolute must play if you're a survival horror fan and have an Xbox One or PS4. This is a must play. And finally, my top pick for a horror game to play on the Xbox One that is so scary, one that'll have you just on the edge of your seat, heart pounding the entire way through, is Outlast 2. Now, this game is insanely scary. I was just like, couldn't take it almost. I had to play this game in small chunks. It was so scary when I played this at night. Just a great gameplay here. Again, you go into an asylum, and there's a mystery you're trying to solve, but in the meantime, all these inmates are like deformed and trying to kill you, and there's gore going on, and there's just craziness, and you have to film it with this like camera and use the camera for night vision. You have to hide from people in this. Got stealth gameplay elements. Oh my god, it's just so rough at times. You're running from these people, and all these doors are locked, and trying to find your path through here, through like a hidden path underneath the wall or through the ceiling. It just gives you so much stress when you're trying to run from these giant monster things, and at the same time trying to solve these giant puzzles. And it's just crazy. Absolutely loved this game, guys. Highly recommend it. You will have a great time if you're a survival horror fan. And the sound design, again, top notch. It just has you in the edge of your seat from very beginning to the very end. And a top notch horror game here. One you guys should definitely check out, and one you can get fairly cheap. And it comes with the Trinity edition, which is like 2 or 3 games for the price of one. It's got like Outlast 1, Outlast Trinity, and Outlast 2 all on one disc. Great deal, great package, and I highly recommend picking it up to scare yourself for Halloween. But anyway, guys, that's all I have for today, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching today's video. If you guys do me a huge favor, smash that like button, subscribe for more videos like this in your sub boxes daily. Also in the comment section down below, let me know what horror games you guys play or plan on playing this Halloween. What are some of your favorites on any system? I'd love to hear it down in the comments down below. A lot of people are saying Luigi's Mansion. Do you guys think that Luigi's Mansion is a horror game or not? I'd love to know that too. But until next time, guys, remember that it's always K-Mac time somewhere. Until then, take it easy and peace out.